Okay, a little short video here about what we're up to on the Grande Pacific Model Railroad. One of the things, and it's into what is your model railroad about and what are your goals, objective. And as you've heard me mention many times, the Grande Pacific is what's called an operational railroad. We run trains to a schedule and we move and operate the cars. And I'm going to be real honest with you, including myself. A lot of the people that are doing this are up in age, and eyesight comes into play. Hunting and searching around for car numbers has got to be an issue. So out of seeing some other things done, we're going to show you what we use this label maker to do. We'll use 6mm, 1/4 inch, what they call white tape with black lettering. So now, and this gets into a myriad of different applications. All we did here was print the tape out with the car reporting marks and car number, and then stuck it on top. And we did put a little bit plastic cement glue on each end of the tape, because the tape's plastic and the car's plastic, in an attempt to stop it from curling up. I am well aware that it affects the appearance of the car, but we come back to what is the objective of the railroad. What do? Well, the guys like to run trains and switch them, so you need to have things. Now, this car here, to get away from putting in a plate to put the car on, the number on the end of the car is flat, so the number is there. Why is this important? You know, because you say, I can see the car number here on the side. Well, that's true in this case, and with that car, it is. But a lot of these cars are very difficult to read the numbers. One is this Galveston Wharf car, or this is New Orleans Public Belt car. So we now have the number up here, plain sight. Now here's a case here, you're looking here. The Federal Express truck's kind of blocking your view on the number, but it's clearly visible now on the end of the car. All these cars along here are done. Got a few missed. That SFLS car is not done. These are done. Got to do something with the pipe load car. They missed that one. But the empty hopper, it's in the ledge. This is a real good example. This car may look clean on this video because I'm up close, but the yellow and the blue, for a lot of people, it's hard to read, and the numbers are not real clear. So enough of the various cars that have been done. Where it really comes into play is when you get over here into the yard. You can't see the number on that 40-foot SP boxcar with the roof wall. You can't see it without moving other cars out the way. Yeah, believe me, yours truly probably knows every car, all of the 594 cars on here. But for the crew that comes in, if they can't see it, it's very hard to do. This car right here, I need to make up a placard for it to put the thing on. There's a real good example. Very hard to see the number. It's a B CSXT 60. So you see, I had to get up there and lean the car back to see the number. That's the kind of issues that we're really trying to eliminate. The other one is right there in the container car. Got a bunch of container things. Well, when you break them all, make them all singles, you end up with an A, B, and a C and a D unit. So having the numbers up on top, definitely going to make that easy. So we have numbers on it, so the person operating this yard and pulling cars can see real quickly where he got to go to get them, without having to move cars around, lean them, and so forth. So we have the majority, and we're going to get them probably 99% will have a car mark on top. So, no, there's going to be people who say, oh, I couldn't do that, it makes the cars look well. Then again, the real railroad, in some ways, does already do it. And we'll come over here and flip on the lights, and these are prototypical. These tank cars have the numbers on top. So we're just kind of carrying something out a little bit further to make everything work and make everybody's experience running trains and switching cars a little bit easier for all us people with the bad eyesight and don't want people reaching in and trying to touch cars when they don't have to. So that's what we're up to today at the Grande Pacific Model Railroad. It was a fun day. The crew we ran out of tape. Couldn't get any more right here. I had to order some on the internet. Not a thing was readily available. So the crew went to work cleaning car wheels and checking coupler heights and general maintenance on the cars. Amazing what you find when they haven't been touched for several years. So hats off to the crew today. They got a third of the cars done, believe it or not. So a couple more Fridays, we'll have it. So this is going to be our rundown for Front End Friday. So there it is. And there's the little engine sitting there waiting to be operated. We're going to go start it up. Y'all have a great weekend. Okay, well, we're trying to put a load here in the chip car. And this being one of the SP chip cars we have. Those chips, or better known as sawdust, believe it or not, have definitely got the age issue here. I'm going to say sometime in the 90s, on a previous layout, when I was cutting wood, I gathered up that sawdust and put it in a bag. It's been in that bag for a long, long time. So anyway, it's getting used here in the second decade of the 21st century. All right. We have our white glue. We glued the plastic. That's a piece of styrene we put in the top of the sheet. The tan color or off-colored styrene. That's some of my styrene I got from the merchandising signs from previous employment. It works great. So we glued that in with white glue, let it dry. Now we put wet white glue in heavy on the top of that. And we're going to put some sawdust in on top. Sprinkle it on my hand. This is my soft drink box, which come in very handy for controlling messes and painting, as you can see in the bottom of the box. And a little old brush there from Hobby Lobby comes in a pack of 3. So let us give this a try. Okay, so we've applied the sawdust in here, and this is a little bit better than some other stuff I had saved, but this has got some real good looking pieces in it, make it look like it's chips. Height on how much it comes out, I don't, you figure going down the tracks at 50 miles an hour, maybe not be that stacked up that high. But for our purposes, this is what the load's going to look like. Now, the stuff on the top is loose. We have not applied any more glue to it. Well, we've got the bottle of wet water. Been through this. Regular water with the couple of drops of detergent in it, because can't just apply wet glue to that. It won't. You have the problem with the friction, and it won't not go into it. I just use wet water, and of course the famous 50-50, or really in my case it's about 40% glue, 60% water mixture, which we'll put on the top of this to hold this all in together. Okay, so we'll go get this done and we'll see how it works out. Okay, so we're going to do the left-handed hold the phone and spray with the water. Okay, right here. And as you can see, the water is starting to change the color of it. You can see that where the water's been. So everything's kind of covered here. Now, that does two things. And I'm going to have, when I stop, I'm going to go catch those edges along there before I apply the glue. So, it's all inside. But you can see by spraying with the water, the one thing that immediately happens is the glue from the bottom starts coming up. It'll wicker up onto all the sawdust that's in there, pretty much on the bottom. But we're going to make sure the stuff in the middle and that's in the mound has glue on it, so it won't come out also. So, okay, so I'm going to start with the glue now. We got it all wet, and I'm going to put some glue on it. And this is the water and the glue mixture. My famous bottle here. This bottle also goes back to the last century. And we're going to just get this all wet with glue and water. And then we're going to sit back in and just let it dry. But this is what we're doing. So I'm going to stop here as far as the video, and I'll give this a finish shot when I get to the end. Okay, so at this point all I have to do is clean up the edges, and the project is basically finished. We'll wait and let it dry. I have to put my little number thing on this car, and we will come back and take a picture for the final shot with the top number on it, and I already know exactly how that's going to happen. So we'll let you see that when we get to the end. But we're going to put a car tag up here so we can see the car number from the top. Okay, so here we go, putting loads in cars. Okay, so here's the finished product. We have the wood chip car filled up now with chips, as you noticed from the whole thing. Only the very top actually has chips. There's no need to fill up the car with chips. If you were trying to sell it or something and you wanted to remove the chips, it would be very simple because it's white glue. If you wet it, a little patience, you can get it all off. And you can remove the plastic that you saw me put in to hold the chips. Otherwise, it's a pretty simple little project, but again, represents a complete presentation of the wood chip car. So the two cars together, one full, one empty. This one needs numbers on it. We'll fix that up. You can, of course, have some of each. You can do your operations thing any way you want to. Some people like to stage the layout and go through and get all the right cars in the right place and all that good stuff. We don't do that here. It's what you get's what you get. If it's full empty, it's a wood chip car, and that's it. So it goes into a couple of different locations. The lumber company, we have a chip unloading place, and we also have a paper mill that takes the chip cars. So two places to unload them, one to fill it, and of course they circulate all over the railroad. But this is a little project that we've been working on, trying to get the loads on all of our cars, upgrade things. This is the next one we're working on. We put the styrofoam insert into the hopper. Now we got to put some ballast, or I think this is a sand car, so we'll have to get sand. This was a sand load that was actually in another car, which I took out and put in this one, an older side frame wooden car that really doesn't go with the rest of the stuff on the railroad. So it got retired. It's in the for sale box. So we took that load and kind of worked it into this car. Got a little bit more fine tuning to do, but that's sand. If we come down here in Apex Yard, you'll find one that's got a load of ballast in it. So, you know, there's all kind of things you can do with this. Now that's completely removable. It's not attached to the car in any way. But again, it's loads. This car right here will probably get retired. Really, with the outside framed car, it's that's going way, way back. So it ends up over there at Old King Cole materials place. So we're gonna have to look at that too, because you get to the point where you would not put big, gigantic, heavy cars up on that ramp to bring sand, gravel, and coal in. So there it is. Always those little issues to try to keep it a little bit on the realistic side. But we're down to just the one or two cars we're working on in this yard. So got to work out something on this load to hold the rolls of steel, aluminum, whatever we're hauling there. Those were some little triangles that came off a project. I thought they'd work, but they would work fine if this was O-scale. A little bit on the big side, so we had to come up with a little bit different approach to build a rack to keep those in. But again, you know, we got another lumber load car finished now. We finished this one up yesterday, and it's all loaded up with the Jaeger lumber loads, which really looks a lot better than the old 40-foot flat cars. Actually had enough of those made up already in a box I found to load that car. So we now have 3 of them. And I have enough kits and stuff to do another one, which I have to do. So all the center beams will be loaded. And that'll be, when I get finished with the last one, that'll probably be the end of my lumber load kits, other than the ones I'll put by the True Cut Lumber Company on the stacked up to be loaded. So another piece of the long-term collection of the railroad that's gone on for years, all being put into the place. So this will kind of put a wrap on the project about loads for cars today, and we keep you informed, loading, tagging, and maintaining cars.